Once held to PlayStation 4 exclusivity, Nioh 2 is being brought to PC with a fair amount of content that extends across multiple time periods. Interestingly, even with the latest DLC releasing back in December, players will find that this version of the game is packed with all the DLC, including the Tengu's Disciple, Darkness in the Capital, and the First Samurai. Each DLC comes with a host of content that expands the game's armory, story, and systems to the point where you can experience the adventure after multiple updates and balancing had already been implemented on the PS4 version. In short, this is the best version of an already amazing game. Exploring Nioh 2 on the PC first begins with the updated graphical options available to players. I never considered I was playing a limited version of the game until playing it in 120 FPS. The smoothness of the attack animations and movement felt like it took a level of challenge off of the game. The controls are as responsive as always, but there's just something so satisfying about seeing a game I already deemed as fine-tuned feel even more refined. The 4K Ultra HD support along with 144Hz monitor support complements this fully, but you'll need to adjust for performance over graphics. I always put performance first when playing, but I never felt like Nioh 2 is a bad looking game. Adjusting the shadows and other options only opened the door to a better looking experience, but all I cared about was a steady frame rate to survive the game's challenging enemies. Now, when it comes to content available, you're looking at around 100 hours of things to do, following the 40-hour campaign of the base version. As you progress through the timeline, you'll conclude by unlocking the 3 additional DLC campaigns. Given that this content was previously staggered, I would suggest taking these on slowly, if only to get a hang of each of the added weapons, spirits, and missions. Rushing through the DLC content may cause players to miss some significant gameplay additions, including skills, soul cores, and items. It's borderline overwhelming in a way because you want to continue your journey, but on the other hand, you don't want to progress too quickly because you don't want to figure out that you haven't been using a new battle feature or leveling up your equipment accurately after 30 hours into the DLC. Luckily, players can travel through each time period from a menu and take on missions multiple times. The difficulty changes throughout the adventure, but Nioh 2 has battle systems in place that keep the challenge high while still offering ways that players can feel like a powerhouse. I believe this is addressed in Weapons and Armor's passive abilities, with key and other ways to counter and utilize soul cores and guardians in battle. Nioh 2 is a dense action game that offers a significant amount of content from the base version. This definitive release doubles down on that by giving players hours upon hours of gameplay to experience well after the credits roll. There's a great story here, if not a bit confusing if you really try to understand the lore, but it's still great. Returning fans will have a graphically better time playing, but understand that the core systems remain unchanged. This release feels more geared towards those who have held off on diving into this challenging experience. Nioh 2 is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC on February 5th. Thank you for watching. Please read the full preview at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.